listening to Season 1 of the Get Started podcast, the podcast show set to reveal fintech's brightest founders. We've kicked off with 9 fintech leaders recording live at Europe's biggest fintech show, Money2020. Stay tuned and email us at contact@getstarted.media if you'd like to feature.
Welcome to the Get Started podcast. We're here at Money2020. I'm here with Oli Cook, the CEO and founder of Ekko. It's great to have you here, Oli. Thank you so much for joining us. It would be great if you could kick us off by introducing yourself and tell us a little bit about Ekko and why the business exists.
Yeah, great to be here. So I'm Oli, co-founder, CEO of Ekko. We're on a mission to help bring the world of sustainability into fintech, financial services, payments. So we are the company that bridge those two worlds and bring sustainability as a positive force for the industry.
Fantastic. Obviously, sustainability is a massive sort of global issue right now. What would you say the core mission or vision of your company is sort of long term?
Yeah, so there are 2 trillion payment interactions happening around the world, and we see that as an incredible opportunity to bring sustainability to the forefront when those transactions and interactions happen, because fundamentally when you're making a payment or a purchase or there is money flow, that is a moment where we can use it as an opportunity to educate people about their impact and then use it as a trigger to do something good, whether it be next time shop in a more sustainable shop, or whether it be use it as an opportunity to compensate for your purchase, or even use it as an opportunity to fund projects around the world that have a huge biodiversity impact, such as lion conservation, elephant conservation, for example. And we see the transactions in the financial services as almost one of the most important moments where we can start to influence consumers. What we also find super interesting is a great opportunity just to make sustainability just in your everyday life. Because we transact all the time, 5, 6, 7, 10 times a day, it's a great opportunity just to talk to you about your impact and make it part of your everyday thought process. And I think that's where the opportunity is huge for the industry, and that we can do so much more to help all of our consumers all over the globe just to do a little bit better and understand what they're doing.
I think one thing that Ekko is great at doing is sort of reducing that say-do gap. I think by educating more people, it's really helping to reduce that gap of people who say that they care so much about sustainability but don't actually know what to do or how to solve it. I think Ekko using transactions to make that impact is really helping people to make that difference. How long has Ekko been operational in making this better impact?
Yeah, so we've been together as a team for 3 to 4 years now. And a lot of the first parts of that as a founder is always building the company, setting a vision, setting a strategy, and then really kind of kicking off over the last kind of 12 to 18 months, we've been accelerating hard. That's part of our founder journey, is that we spent time to really think about the problem, because this is a huge problem that as an industry we face and as a society we face. We wanted to have the time to really think about it, make sure we're building the right thing that's actually going to have the impact we want. This isn't just a business for a business sake. We're here on a mission to make the world better. And that takes time to think about how we're going to do that in the right way, in the way that has the scale that we want to have.
Amazing. So I know you've just announced the fantastic news that you've just closed your 2.5 million raise. Congratulations. How big is your team now, and how big are you planning to grow it to? And where are you based as well? And are all your team sort of based together?
Yeah, so thank you. Yeah, the raise, really exciting to have that done, and kind of just shows that this is a space that people back and know there's an opportunity, because our investors are an incredible group of people who have really come together to know that fintech and sustainability is a growing space. It's just, we're one of the forefronts in that. So our team now, we've got people all over the world, so in Paris, in London, opening an office in Cape Town. We're a global company, and that's part of us kind of putting people in the places where we have customers, we have markets, but equally, we're a remote business. We have an office in Farringdon, but anyone can work anywhere. That's part of our growth strategy. So there are 16 to 20 of us at the moment and growing, but we will always be a lean team. That's part of our footprint that we should have on society, but also back to the earlier point of the way we thought about the business is we need to make sure we're a capital efficient business, the unit economics are good, and we do that through being an efficient team with a tech-based business. And that allows us to have the impact we want whilst solving the commercial elements, which are fundamental in this kind of fundraising market as well.
Great. Well, thank you so much for the overview of Ekko. It was great to sort of give our listeners a bit of a feel for Ekko. We're now going to move into our next segment, which is called Started in 7. And this is designed to give founders a platform to discuss their startup journey so far, as well as sharing their perspectives on the current business landscape. So for you, Ollie, I know sort of it's been a few years now. Can you describe the moment or the challenge or maybe even the opportunity that finally pushed you over the edge and compelled you to start your business?
Yes, it's a combination of many, I think. So my world, and actually all of the co-founders, all of our world is in banking and payments. So we have built banks, built fintechs, sold fintechs, run commercial products all over the world. And throughout our whole careers, we are all passionate about sustainability and have tried in all of the places we have operated to deliver sustainability and kind of make it real for our customers. And we've generally pretty much unanimously failed in that mission at that time. And the reason we failed is that when it got to the boardroom, the conversation on sustainability was always, it costs too much money, it takes too much time, it's hard to trace your impact. And it never got high enough on the agenda because reality is businesses need to make money, they have commercial challenges. We work in a lot of regulated businesses who have huge regulatory challenges as well to kind of solve. And we had that same problem, and it almost got to a moment where no one was going to solve this problem. So we have to build Ekko to do this. And it all started, the conversation and the frustration came out in a pub together with the co-founders, as all good ideas start in the pub. And that frustration started building. And by the end of that night, we decided we were going to build Ekko. And then the next morning, kind of when the hangover subsided, there's suddenly a WhatsApp chat going, no, we're serious. Let's go and build Ekko. And then we built it from there. Originally not called Ekko, but that's a different story.
Yeah, it's great to sort of hear that journey and that moment, obviously that eureka moment. I think it's been an issue that's been prevalent for a long time, so it's great that you've taken that initiative to solve the problem. What is one moment on your journey as a founder that you would repeat again if you could?
The one moment, actually this is from, I've got many mentors who give me advice, and this kind of links into that very clearly, is I want to have that moment in the pub where we started Ekko again. And the reason is, one, it was good fun, and it's kind of to remind us of the conversation. But two, I wish I had a photo, because that is a moment that has set us on this path. And the feedback I've had from a few people who've been there and done it before multiple times is that you need to take photos as a founder of your journey because it goes so unbelievably fast. Things move at a super pace, and you don't realize how important those moments are. And you want to go back and have a photo just to remind yourself of the part of the history of the business, part of the moment where it happened. So that's the one thing I'd do. I would just go back, listen to that conversation, and take a photo. That's my one thing.
Yeah, taking a photo of the room where it happened is always a great thing to do, and it's a shame that you can't go back and do that. Just to flip that sort of on its head, is there a moment on your journey as a founder that you would never want to sort of relive again?
So in Ekko, more generally, my view on life is no, I don't have regret anything because it put me to where I am today, and I take those lessons. That's just the way I view life. I don't really try and focus on regrets. There's one experience I had, which was a key learning, I suppose, pre-Ekko, where I wanted to build a different business, and I quit my job. So, right, I'm going to go and build this. And I did that, and then I very quickly realized that I've got a mortgage to pay, I've got kids at nursery, and it's really hard to raise money because I was completely new to entrepreneurship at the time, albeit, running businesses before, but entrepreneuring less so. And I had to kind of quickly realize that this isn't going to work, not because the idea didn't work, not because the concept didn't work, but just financially, I couldn't sustain it for my family. So that is a fundamental lesson that I took, and we took very differently with Ekko, in that we took our time to think about it whilst all having different jobs in different places, and in the evenings thinking about it, weekend thinking about it, and do it properly. So not necessarily wouldn't do it again, but I didn't do it again with Ekko. I took that lesson, and it's a good thing, I think.
Yeah, it's sort of interesting. You talk about your family. I think we hear from a lot of startup founders that, they have had a similar thought process. It is a big risk setting up a business in a new space or with a new idea. What would you say your biggest motivator is, and why does it motivate you?
Genuinely, the opportunity we have as an industry to do good in this space is astronomical. And what motivates me is if I can play my part in making that happen, those 2 trillion payment interactions to the millions and millions and billions of consumers who we as an industry, or these people in Money2020, look after and facilitate their payments. If we can make a difference, that's incredible, right? There's this whole philosophy that we have as a company is that we want to do our jobs well, we want to really make a difference, but we want to make the world a better place, because if I can do a good job, I can generate returns from my investors and my shareholders, and the world is significantly better because we did that. What a great place to be. And I think we come back to generally that the rule is in the company, if you do a good job, the world is better by fact. And that's just an awesome, awesome place. That's so motivating that every day you get up and go, I'm going to go for it because the world's going to be better because I'm here and I'm pushing forward.
Yeah, the impact that Ekko can have is incredible. We're going to talk a little bit about the impact of Money 2020 shortly, but I think it's really interesting that you sort of bring to light that, the impact that sort of all of these people here could have on the environment is incredible. Just going back to sort of a more business question now. Did you expect your business to be more or less successful by this point in its life cycle?
I think every founder probably thinks that their business is going to be a unicorn within 2 years and going to go all guns on it. And that is not the case. It's taken a little bit longer to find our product market fit, but now we're there, it's accelerating at a ridiculous pace, and that's fantastic to be part of. I think where we are now and how we've evolved, how we've thought about it, listened to our clients, listened to our customers, the opportunity for what we're building and what we're going to do is 10 times bigger than I ever thought when we started the journey. And that's really exciting. It's taken this probably a little bit longer than I hoped to get to that thought process. That's just because as an entrepreneur, I want to go faster. Everything's faster all the time. But now we're here. The scale of what we're going to do and the impact we're going to have is so much bigger than I ever thought or we ever set out to do.
Just to sort of flip that question slightly, it's great to sort of hear about Ekko's trajectory, but why do you think so many other startups struggle to break through and struggle to succeed in the areas that they intended to?
I think that's a good question. There's probably lots of ways and lots of reasons. I think in the current market, commercial thought process and unit economics, I think, are probably the thing that is super important with any investor right now, because lots of great ideas, lots of good partners, but generally startups need, in this space anyway, need the funding to be able to grow the business, and not spending enough time to think about those unit economics, think how you're actually going to run a commercial enterprise that can sustain itself financially in the future or be super profitable, whatever it might be. I think if that's not thought through and considered and really thought about, it becomes a challenge. And I think that's where we're seeing quite a few businesses struggle as they realign from huge volume into we've got to commercialize. And whilst businesses are doing that, some businesses have the runway to be able to do that, which is great. Some businesses, which are brilliant ideas and brilliant businesses, brilliant people, just haven't had the runway to be able to make that flip, and therefore, unfortunately, are failing because I don't think it's a lack of intelligence or lack of quality or lack of idea. It's just the timing hasn't quite worked, and they've kind of not had enough funding to be able to make that change happen and evidence it. So maybe that's just a reality of where we were, where we are right now. But if you're building it now, focusing on unit economics, focusing on those key metrics that generate revenue for the business, I think that's fundamental.
Great. The next question I'm going to ask, I think, is particularly relevant to this discussion with Ekko and with yourself. With such an opportunity to make a great impact, in 10 years' time, what will be fundamentally different about our lives? And I think it would be great if you can tie in, a little bit about sustainability in there.
My hope is this isn't 10 years, so I think it should be a lot sooner than this, is that sustainability is just embedded everywhere. And we always talk about embedded finance in the space, and we talk more about embedded sustainability in that everything you do, whenever there's a money transaction, whenever anyone in this room does anything with their customers, sustainability is in the DNA of that interaction, that transaction, whether it's the tracking the footprint or whether it's using zero emissions energy when we do make a card payment, whatever it might be. It's just in the DNA and a minimum expectation. I think we are actually going to get there much sooner than the next 10 years. I think over the next 5, consumers, businesses, regulators, shareholders, investors, employees are demanding it, and it should be there. And I'm excited about that world. Like, I hope that's happens sooner than 5 years. But that's where I come back to us as an industry. We have so much opportunity to do good. We just need to go faster, and we need to push harder and faster to make it happen.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's super important that people start, making more consideration in their lives, and I think through something like Ekko, it makes it a lot easier to do those things. Obviously, we're here at Money2020, so it would be great to sort of unpack your thoughts around this event and sort of see how you found it. We're kind of at the end of the event now, so you can give more of a broader overview. We're on day 3. Why do you think an event like Money2020 is so important to the fintech sector?
Yeah, so this is my first Money2020. We're at the end of the event, and my trainers are ruined. I'm tired. My legs are absolutely shattered. Why do I think it's important is that it's great. What I didn't realize, like I said, it's my first Money2020, is that everyone is in this room and everyone is here and everyone is open to chats. And I think since COVID, it's very hard to just spend time and meet people physically, face to face. It's very easy to have Zoom chats or Google Hangouts, whatever it might be. I think it's just a great opportunity just to connect on a human level. And I think that is a big part, which I wasn't expecting, like I said, first time here, is that a lot of this is just people I've spoken to, have met with, who have worked with for 4 years, and I've never actually met them face to face. And it's just meet face to face and have a coffee and a chat and a catch up and create those connections. And I think that is a huge part of this ecosystem, why this event is so good, is that everyone's here. We're all here to meet and connect, and everyone's open to that, and I think that's a great thing.
Yeah, this year at Money2020, they've made quite a big effort to reinforce that human connection ideal. There have been like the coin safe, where you have to make that human connection and you sort of put your hands together on a screen. So it's been really, really nice to sort of make those connections in person, catch up with people who you've never met in real life. And also, I think, it's often quite a big investment for people to come here. So it's great that you can get to meet up with so many people. I think, quite a few people who I've spoken to around the room have sort of said the same thing. How do you think that events like Money2020 can offer more value to the fintech ecosystem?
I think there's a difference, and I'm not sure how this would play out, between lots of people talking, this is coming back to the sustainability point, which obviously I'm passionate about, into more kind of action and doing. And let's turn it from meeting and standing on stage, talking and discussing things, into how can we actually do something as a community here? Why can't we all get together? And at the end of this, there's something that the community have decided. We are all signing up to this commitment. We are all going to do this. Everyone's in the room. We're all here. Let's make it actually happen. That'd be a great evolution if that next year we had a big drive that by the end of it, all the CEOs in the room signed something and said, we're going to make this happen. And by the next Money2020, we're going to go and have a look at it and see if we've actually made that thing real life. I think that'd be a good evolution and show the value of what this kind of event can do. And I think people would be open to that as well. So there you go, Money2020 team. It's a new idea.
Yeah, I think it would be great if we could sort of see that impact across the event. And I think it's a great idea to make those connections with everyone and sort of get everyone to sign some sort of almost like a pact of things that they'd like to do next year. Maybe that is something that Money2020 could implement next year. Obviously, for a startup founder, the investments come to Money2020 in terms of time, in terms of cost, can sometimes be quite a lot. When would you say that it's the right time for a startup founder to start considering attending events or sponsoring events like Money2020?
Yeah, so it's my first time here, and for that exact reason, it's a big investment. It's a big time investment. To do Money2020 well, it's not just the event. There's a lot of pre-work to the event to kind of make your connections, and then there's a lot of post-work to the event, and there's a commercial aspect to it. I think, for me, it depends on where you are on your founder journey. If you are looking to just scour the market, meet people really early on, you've got an idea in your head, and you're kind of that pre-seed stage, it's an investment and there are deals out there, but it's a good opportunity to meet people, share your idea, make those connections, research pretty much everyone in the room, what they're up to, see if you're going to get product market fit. That probably makes a lot of sense there. Then there's a later stage where you are commercially ready, you're ready to strike deals, you're ready to grow the business, you're ready to actually do stuff, which is where Ekko is. It's a brilliant thing there. The return on investment of this for us is astronomical. The partnerships we've done here are game-changing for Ekko, and also for our partners as well. So it makes sense here. I think there's that middle territory where you're building, you're not quite ready to commercialize it yet, you're not quite ready to make partners or do anything. I think at that point, for me, it didn't make sense to be here because I was spending a lot of money and I couldn't do the things that I need to do to make it worth my while. That kind of gap in the middle, I'd say it doesn't quite work. That said, if you get the good deals, then maybe that's different. But from my perspective, when we were in that space, I deliberately chose not to come, whereas now it's very different for us.
Fantastic. It would be great to finish on sort of an update on what's coming next for Ekko. Is there anything really exciting on the horizon that you can share with us?
Yeah, so we've closed our fundraise. We are about to announce some incredible people who have joined our team. Absolutely incredible people who are going to scale us globally. And again, as a CEO founder, I focus more on the team than anything else because they're the people who are going to make this happen. And I could not be more excited to share who they are. On top of that, it's really now going live across the world. So we should be live in Australia in the coming months, in LATAM, across Europe, in the MENA region. So it's now about really showing the growth with all of our partners all over the world. And we'll be announcing them progressively over the next 6 to 7 months, I think, which is super exciting.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Oli. It's been a really enjoyable conversation and great to hear your insights and obviously what's coming next for Ekko. Enjoy your flight home. Hopefully you get a nice rest this weekend. But yeah, thanks so much.
You've been listening to Get Started Podcast, the podcast show set to reveal fintech's brightest founders, brought to you by Communications House for Entrepreneurs Started. To take part, email contact@getstarted.media or WhatsApp us on +44 7822 01 8863.